Welcome back. Leading nearly every early poll for the Democratic nomination, former Vice President Joe Biden came under fire from 7 women who claimed physical contact initiated by the longtime Delaware senator was unwelcome and made them feel uncomfortable.
I just want you to know I had permission to hug Lonnie. By the way, he gave me permission to touch him.
There's some women who want to hear directly, I am sorry. Are you sorry for the way that you've made these women feel?
I'm sorry I didn't understand more. I'm not sorry for any of my intentions. I'm not sorry for anything that I have ever done. I've never been disrespectful intentionally to a man or a woman.
Yeah, for now, it does not seem like these allegations are hampering Biden's political ambitions. He says he's very close to deciding whether or not he'll run for the Oval Office in 2020. I start with Jessica Colon. You've talked about seeing, we've discussed all of these Me Too allegations. Give me an assessment of what's happening to Joe Biden.
Well, he's the lead contender of the entire Democrat field. Nobody can touch him right now. And that is what's going on because it's the ultimate hypocrisy of the Democrat Party. Look at how they're kid-gloving the Virginia Democrat officials who are still in office today. Look at Alyssa Milano coming out and supporting Joe Biden, yet she was on the front lines of the Kavanaugh hearings. It is thick with hypocrisy that they just simply want to take Biden down now at this point. I'm not discounting the allegations and the women that are coming forward, but they certainly aren't being muzzled like the women in Virginia are, and women across the country that don't fit the Democrat model at that moment, with whatever it is that the party wants to promote. So this is just, to me, and it's clear to many across the country, that what's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander. And so the Democrats are trying to, play politics with now female intentions in the Me Too movement, which of course we all could have predicted and have predicted. But I think it's on full display for the nation to see how Joe Biden's being treated versus the Virginia officials who have very legitimate claims. And again, these allegations against Biden may be legitimate, but what's going on in Virginia and how Alyssa Milano supporting Biden and was on the front lines of Kavanaugh, complete hypocrisy.
Okay, I'm going to bring Carmen Rowe in on this. You share that perspective, or do you see it differently?
It may be political, but it's still creepy. And so the video that he released on Twitter, creepy as well. The bottom line is that he's a professional person. He's trained and schooled and advanced when it comes to social interactions with people. And there is a lot of YouTube out there that's just inappropriate. And it's not whether he hugs people, it's how he hugs people. And so there's really no getting around the visuals on this. And so the optics are bad. Whether it's political or not, I think is debatable. Whether it's creepy or not at all.
Okay, Ben Strusan, student of the human condition.
I tell you what, poor Joe Biden. I mean, I really feel sorry for the guy on some level. He's old, he's white, he's got all the characteristics that the Democrat Party hate. I mean, he's going to go through this ringer if he enters this race, and the party's just is moved totally past this guy. They're far to the left, they're socialists. He's got part of sort of the old world graces. It's like a knight shows up, for a gunfight, wearing armor. He's so out of place in his own party. I don't see how he even wins the nomination. I don't even with him ahead in the polls like this, I don't see him winning the nomination. It's just not them anymore. They've passed him by.
I'm going to go a little longer on this topic because I want to hear from Mike Collier, who just spent a good part of a year out there amongst the public, talking, hugging, handshaking, shoulder. I mean, what's your read on all this?
Really? I believe Joe Biden when he says he didn't mean to hurt anybody. I also admire the fact that he's stopping and listening and learning from it. I think we will judge him on what he does going forward. I'll say this, he's not sending out hateful tweets. He's not lashing out. He's not bragging about assaulting anybody, if you know what I mean. I don't see hypocrisy on our side on this one, not even close.
But how many times can he say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, constantly, I'm sorry? It's continuous, I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Well,
Last
leave
word.
it to the Democrats to just bring it back to Trump all the time. I mean, come on. You know, this is complete hypocrisy on the Democrat side. Joe Biden doesn't fit their narrative right now, yet they're treating the Virginia Democrats in a completely different manner.
There's solid grounds there.
Thank you.
Well, not what I meant. Vice President Mike Pence was in Houston Friday, speaking out against the violence, corruption, and widespread agony plaguing Venezuela.
All options are on the table. We will not stand idly by for the suffering he has brought to the people of Venezuela. Nicolas Maduro must go.
Okay, what's unfolding in Venezuela should break all of our hearts. I mean, but Tony, is it enough for us to intervene? I mean, there's a lot of history there. When do we step in? Or do we step in?
Those are great, serious questions. But what you just heard is another example of the Trump administration mismanaging. Let's go down the list, but let's just focus on immigration. What did he just say? I don't understand what he just said, and I speak English really well. Did he just say that he's telling the people of Venezuela to violently overthrow a dictator who's backed by the military? And if he's implying that or saying it, which you could extrapolate that, what's our immigration policy for all the folks that will flee Venezuela? Will we accept them with open arms, or will we say it's an invasion? On top of it, does he really want the U.S. to drop bombs? What does that mean? Drop bombs? 100,000 troops in Venezuela? Again, just like every Trump policy, it's a bunch of talk, no substance. It's dangerous for the economy, the world, immigration. Here's also what's worse. I could translate a lot into it because I don't like dictators. I oppose dictators. But guess what? Our president likes dictators. He says he's in love with the North Korean dictator. He's been nice to Duterte. He says that, Erdogan is a great guy. He looks up to the ultimate dictator, Putin. So I can't get this administration straight. I hope they get their act together, because these are people's lives that they're messing with now.
Justin Lurie, got to give you a chance to answer that.
Tony brought up about 15 or 20 different wildly bizarre points. If we're going to go back in time and look at the administration in Washington, whether it's Bush or Obama or Trump now, if we're talking about one, overthrowing dictators, about Libya and having a giant mess over there, how can we not even forget that? But the thing that we're not talking about at all is Cuba. Cuba plays a major role in propping up this regime. And Obama, going back to policy, Obama is the one who kind of gave green light to Cuba to start meddling throughout the hemisphere, opening up trade with them, opening the doors, where they're really a very, very bad regime. We need to be pressuring Cuba, and that's what we're going to do the end around to really hurt Venezuela.
Topic was Venezuela.
The vice president did say, and people in the room said, people who are refugees, said that if Cuba weren't involved, Maduro would have folded. So what do? Do we help that process, or just wait for it to happen?
But that's really silly, too. And actually, we're ignoring years of involvement in Central America. I mean, Justin's kind of given a bad case of history, American history. All I got to say is, let's remember, the first 9/11 was when the United States overthrew Allende in Chile. Okay, so let's get that straight. If you want to talk American history, learn it first.
Okay, we'll pick up for another show. Still ahead, our panel answers the question, what did we miss? So stay with us.